Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Recovering Addict. I'm LT. I'm an alcoholic addict. 2 times in my life, I have hit rock bottom due to addiction. This is a channel that's dedicated to relapse prevention and helping you get clean and find a support system online and here locally in Utah. Our motto is we recover better together because the support system is huge in recovery. Though we can't make you and give you the effort you need to succeed, we can be there to support you while you succeed. I always tell people when they join our group, I will put in 110%. If you put in 110%, if you put in 50%, I will put in 50%. And that is the effort that you put into your recovery because I can't put in more than you're going to put in or that you're willing to put in. On this morning live stream, we go through a book right now. We are going through a book called Crossroads. This is a step-by-step guide away from addiction. We are on chapter 2, step 2 of this book, and it's called Confess That You Are Double-Minded. We're going to talk about stuff in our minds that go on, like I want to change, but I don't want to change. I want to quit, but I don't want to quit. I know God, but I am God. You know, that kind of stuff. All those mind games we play with ourselves while we're in addiction. Another thing we do is we have monthly challenges, 30-day challenges that look like a set of small goals to achieve each day. And we do it as a group so that at the end of the day, we've accomplished something very healthy in our lives. We've rewired our minds and our thinking for positive gratitude, for admiration, things that we like about ourselves, exercise, healthy diets and water. Small changes, and that doesn't have to be crazy, but it's stuff that's going to help you overcome addiction and turn you into somebody else that you want to be rather than the person we've been and fighting against. It's just not fun. JV, thanks for being here. He says, understanding the parts that make us very important. Therapy types like internal family systems teach us that there is no bad parts. However, we have to make sure that our self is a sound health. Amen. Good morning, Geesh. How are you? Eugene, good morning. Glad that you're here. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for listening to me. I'm here to help. I'm here to tell you what I know, what I've learned. I'm just about 3 years sobriety got going on here. And what I do is I study these books. And it's funny, I'm going through this book, and it's been a minute since I've been in this book. And I've gone through this book. It has all my writing in it. Like, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I write in my books when I start studying stuff, and this one has all my markings. And I don't remember going through it. I believe this is when I was seeking counseling and seeking advice when I was full-blown alcoholic, like full-blown blackout, full-blown drunk. And I'd gone through this book, and it has another staple of mine. I only went through 2 chapters, and then that's it. The rest of the book's blank. So I never made it to chapter 3. So I think I went through this with an older guy, a friend of mine I've been friends with for years. He's like in his 80s now. But I think I started going through this book with him, and obviously I gave up and quit and failed. Story of my life, back in addiction. But not no more. Not no more. We're on a lifestyle change. We're on a new path and a new life, and I love it. Good morning, Aubrey. So with that challenges that I said, we are in a Discord. Together, we are in a Discord, and we will look at our 30-day challenges and see how everybody's doing. So we do our little goals for the day, and then we post them. And we inspire each other. We support each other, and we encourage each other to keep going so that when it gets tough, you know, we get that little extra strength that we need. We are live. Let me run this across the bottom here. Every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Every Wednesday morning. I should say Thursday. Let me fix that. My goodness. So every Tuesday and Thursday. There we go. That's better. Today's Thursday, right? I believe it's Thursday. So our live stream schedule is every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 7 a.m. And then at Sunday nights at 8 p.m., we are going to be going through a book called Atomic Habits. Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results by James Clear. Great book. I got it on Audible. I'm going to start listening to it there. We're going to go through this whole book every Sunday night until it is done. Every detail, every word, every page. But the morning live streams, when it's just me by myself, because our Sunday night lives, it's my wife and I, We're going through Crossroads. So that's what we'll be digging into today. How's everybody doing? Today is Thursday, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Lowe's, good morning. How are you? Glad you're here. Ramel, good to see you. Need a link to the Discord again when possible. I'll drop it right now. I just got to go up here and I just got to like click this button. And then I hit a button that says invite, and then I hit copy, and then it copies it over there. And then I go over here and I hit Command V, and then I hit enter, and boom, there's the Discord link. Join us. If you're not in the Discord, join us. It's a great place to vent. It's a great place to read. It's a great place to hide back in the digital bushes and see what other people are doing in recovery. And we used to have a Zoom meeting every single day, but now that summer's here, that little pandemic's not as is over. I think people are outside and not on their computers quite as much. So our Zoom meetings kind of aren't as structured as they used to be, but we'll figure something out. That'll come down in the line of things that we do. But right now you can count on 3 live streams a week, Tuesday and Thursday morning, and Sundays at 8 p.m. Sunday night. Help you with those Monday blues. Oh, I got to go back to work Monday. That sucks. We can hang out. We can talk about addiction. New people show up, we can support them. People come in here and they only got like days clean, or sometimes they show up drunk or high. And you know what? We're here to help. We're a community that helps like that. Why? Because we've been there. We've done that. So let's look at the main idea of this little chapter we're going to go through. This is a long chapter, so we're going to bust right through this. Observe your actions. They might reveal that you don't want to change. You do your addiction because you like it. Maybe you want to change, but at the same time, you don't want to change. And you're caught between wanting to trust God and wanting to be God. Acknowledge this, and you're walking in the right direction. That's a tough one, huh? So the main idea of what we're going to talk about today is that you want to change, but you don't want to change. You want God's help, but you want to be God, right? You're double-minded. There's 2 parts of us. You're probably familiar with the 12-step program. They begin with acknowledging our defeat. Step 1 in AA or NA is we admitted that we were powerless over alcohol or drugs, and their lives had become unmanageable. Oh, how many of us have been there? How many of us are there? And it sucks. Jen Ray, morning. Glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Yet things are more complicated than that. A weird tension is in your heart. What's going on? What is this tension? Because one side, you feel powerless. Your world feels out of control and you're sick of it. And on the other side, you think that your addiction helps you manage your life so that you have more control. We started using our drugs and alcohol because we loved that. Like, we used it and it was like, whoa, that made me feel better, made me feel stronger, more confident. I smoked weed and I got high and I made all kinds of cool, beautiful music. You know, I came home from work, I was stressed out, I drank, and it calmed me down. So in a way, we look at our addiction and we see that we had benefit from it. That's why we kept and started doing it. I was bored, I got high, and then I had fun, right? Until I got high, until I got high. You know that song. So on the other side, you think that your addiction helps you manage your life so that you have more control. And that's why you hate it. And that's why you love it. You hate it and you need it. Your addiction is not the friend it once was because it has messed up your life. But think about it. You started because you liked it. It did something for you. It did something for you. Who wants to give up something that works? So we got in the back of our mind that this used to work for us. It's ingrained, like, hey, this is what I did because it worked. You know, it's a habit. And now, why would I want to give that up? So there's this part of us that just, why give up? But I see that everything sucks. And I want to. It's a weird trap to be in. Coffee. So in the comments, if you're not working or driving, you ever feel like that? Do you feel like that right now? Jen Ray says, any suggestions on how I can celebrate my 1-year clean anniversary next Friday? That's meaningful. A good way to celebrate, and I don't know if you can run around town or not, or find a meeting, a definite good way to go is to just pop in on some AA group or some NA group if they have one available and sit there. And when they yell out the coins, like, anybody got a year clean, you raise your hand, you get your coin or your tag, and you let everybody know how you did it. It feels good. If you're afraid to speak in public, try it. It's not that bad. You just say, look, over the last year, this is what's been working for me, and I got a year. Woohoo! Everybody claps. You get a coin, you get a hug, you get a good meeting. Great feeling. That's a great way. Great default way to celebrate a 1 year. And another thing too is, like, I don't want to go there, and I'm not going to go to accept a coin or a tag. I'm not in it for that, but think about the person that's sitting there that's brand new, that hears you tell them how you did get 1 year clean, and that person gets inspired. You may not even know, but they may come a year or so later and be like, hey, that one time you showed up and I heard you talk about how you got year, that gave me hope, and I'm clean, and I thanks, and you're part of my story. Do it for the other person that's watching, and the person that's watching that you may not know that's watching. That's a good way. And the obvious, like, go out to eat, grab some friends that understand your struggle, celebrate with them, have a little get together, and do things like that. Get online. We could have a Zoom meeting, and later we could, like, if you want to schedule a Zoom meeting in the Discord, say, hey, everybody, let's jump on and talk about my 1 year clean, and we'll all jump in there and clap and cheer. That's another one. I'd like to do that. Geesh says, I need the pain management and the energy. Turns out it was my thyroid that was making me tired AF. Yeah. So we came to figure out we're not doctors. Coffee. A good meeting, good dinner. It's your birthday. JV, that's absolutely right. Ramil says, I'm definitely in a love-hate relationship with abusing substances, but I am very confident on permanently dismissing it from my life with the help of Vivitrol and a new place of sober living in Greenville, Mississippi. Right on. It is a love-hate relationship. And yeah, medicated assisted treatment, Matt, that stuff works. Use it to your advantage. Responsibly with a doctor, sober living, you're surrounded by good people, accountability. Cherie, what up, girl? How are you? And yes, way to go, Jen Ray. She said she loves the suggestions. So yeah, check it out. Let us know. Let us know how it goes. Definitely remind us in Friday so that we can all shout you out too. There's a place that I go that gives me a birthday on every sober birthday. That's truly family. Where is it? Where do you go? Congratulations. Awesome. Jen, right? That's what I was thinking about, going out to dinner. Yeah, it's a good thing to do. Dinner's fun. Michigan. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Why did I say Mississippi? I know that. I lived in Michigan for 5 years. I lived right there. Right there in Berrien Springs. Aubrey says, congrats, Jen Ray. I'm so excited for you. So, the damn tug of war. Now add your fear that working through this book is just another opportunity to fail. Oh, great. Here's another book. I'm going to try something and I'm going to fail. And guess what? It's funny because all the markings in here that show that I have tried to go through this before, I did fail. I went through this at some point as a drug addict, as an alcoholic. Got to 2 chapters through it with all my little writings and then blank, which tells me I went back out and continued using. So I did fail. I read that. That's kind of funny. Why make the effort when there's a risk that you might end up feeling even more like a failure? Why even try? Okay, I want to quit. I don't want to quit. I hate it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to try to change. But now I'm going to go through and I'm going to try to learn a book and then I'll fail. And there's just another damn thing I failed at. So we just, this whole freaking tug of war, double-minded battle. What a mess. But it's more than that. It's more than that. What you have is a full-blown war. The crossroads at which you stand is not a quaint contrary road. It's not easy. It's a freaking combat zone. On one side wants everything to stay the same, and the other side wants to change. One side wants death, and the other side wants life. One side wants to play God, the other wants to follow God. No, I'm God. No, I need your help. But I'm in charge, Your complicated heart can't want both ways. And it is tough to win any battle when you're playing both sides. How are you gonna play chess against yourself and really be the winner? You know what I mean? Or checkers or any of that kind of stuff. because it comes a stalemate and an excuse to be hopeless and quit the fight altogether. So I just give up. You start having this battle. You're trying to play both sides. You're like, fuck it, I'm giving up. I'm done. I'm going back to using. It's all the same. I'm used to it. And that's where I live. What are you going to accept? You're going to accept the fact that you're an addict and you're never going to change and you just live there. A lot of people do. And their lives are not, I would not trade my life for that ever. I don't want to live miserably. I want to live happy. I want to wake up feeling great, just like I did this morning. I want to wake up after the 4th of July on the 5th of July and not have to ask my wife or my kids, did I do anything stupid? Do I need to apologize to anybody? I don't want to live that life anymore. Guilty and ashamed, unhealthy. We get to some questions in here further down the line of this page. And we'll get to it, but it asks us some questions like, why do we want to change? And I put, because I'm tired of the bad consequences is next to it. And then next to it, I put being fat. I was sick of being out of shape and unhealthy. I'm a little dude. I'm only like 5'7", not very big guy. And I'm weighing over 215, 220 pounds when my frame should be around down 270s, 170s, just bleh, a little blob walking around drunk. So cool. Not cool. So we're in a war. We're in a battle. We're battling ourselves. We're playing both sides, and playing both sides, we end up in a stalemate. So quit the fight, and the addiction wins. You ever been there? Are you there now? Shree says, have a great day, everyone. Off to bed. Love it. Have a great night sleeping, Shree. Were my pants on? Right? We were at our 4th of July thing over at the in-laws' house. We ended up migrating down to the bottom porch. They got a pretty nice house, a top porch, bottom porch. And we're underneath there. The people, kids and stuff are out there playing in this little kiddie pool and, throwing bean bags, playing cornhole. And we're just sitting down there. And one of the kids started pouring water off the edge of the upstairs deck down and splashing. We're like, oh my God. Everybody's looking for me. Like, where's LT? Is he peeing off the deck? And my buddy's like, well, he's sober now. We ain't got to worry about him. It's kind of funny. So here's a question to ask yourself. Do you want to change? Do you want to change? It's a tougher question than you think. Do you want to change? And this doesn't have to be like for the addict who is drunk or high right now. This can be, you could apply this to any part of your life at any point of your recovery. Are you 30 days clean and you're looking to change and go and you want to level up, right? You want to start increasing your spiritual condition, your health, your mind. You want to start learning and educating yourself and doing better there. Very tough question and action. I agree. So how can you tell if you don't want to change? How can you tell? First, if you're being honest with yourself, you already know. And second, pay more attention to what you do than what you say. Even watch what your imagination is pondering, right? What do you sit and all of a sudden get lost in a daydream? That's your imagination. If you say you want to change, but you notice that you keep going back, your actions will show what you really love. That's why I say talk is cheap. A lot of talk I see from a lot of people, and you hear that talk and you want to believe them, and you're hoping that what they're saying is true. And maybe sometimes you buy into it a little bit, and you can apply this to yourself and you're selling yourself. But give it a month and then take inventory of the actions over that last month. That's what you really want. Actions speak louder than words. Talk is cheap. That kind of stuff. And it even goes down to like this is going to get uncomfortable in your mind. If a man says that he loves his wife, but he's pursuing other women, he doesn't love his wife. His behavior tells the real story. A woman says she loves her husband and indulges in fantasies of being married to other men. Her imagination tells the real story. Do you see the deeper reality here? When you want to change and don't want to change, the truth is you don't want to change. When you want both your spouse and somebody else, you're rejecting your spouse. Now you can apply that to many situations, many other scenarios. That's just a real deep, sharp one there for people. Do you want recovery? Do you want to be healthy and all that stuff? And you come and you act and pretend and say, but then your actions speak totally different when you get home. All goes out the window and your actions show another whole nother version of you. Or you're really continue fantasizing on the drug use, on the old party lifestyle. And that's where you want to be. Now there's cravings, and you're very familiar with these cravings. The cravings are more than physical desires. They also reveal what you desperately want. Who wants to give up something that we crave? Your cravings have more of you in them than you realize. So start by taking a look at your resistance to change. Honesty and openness are the way of hope. So do you want to change? And I'm going to ask some questions here and just try to see what applies to you. Okay. I will take the weight I have on me instead of being on the Jenny Crank diet where I was at a weight that was good, but done unhealthily. Oh, absolutely. One of my favorite things is when we see, and I'm just going to pick on the females here because it seems to be a little bit more sensitive for them, even though from my experience, I've noticed that the men are way more emotional than women in group. But when I see a girl come in and she's been abusing drugs and meth or whatever, and she's like, I want to quit, I want to change, I'm clean. And we're just watching the actions, and you see that recovery's starting to work, and all of a sudden you see them gain weight. They're getting a little bit more chubby than they were, on the Jenny Crank diet. And I get excited. I'm like, yes, they're getting healthy. Like that is good health. When you're first getting clean and sober, you're going for your first year and a half, 2 years. Don't worry about the weight. Get healthy in your mind and spirit. And your body's getting healthy because you're finally fueling it with food, right? The Jenny Crank diet, what'd you eat? A saltine every once in a while and drink a little bit of water? Chain smoke cigarettes? That is not a good healthy diet. That is not a muscle building diet. That's where your body's actually storing fat and eating muscle. It's doing the opposite for you. So that type of diet's not good, even though it may feel like you look good because you got, a little bit more slender fit. But when I see somebody come in from from meth and they get healthy and start getting a little chunky, that's awesome. They're doing it right. Because later, once you get through the addiction, the hard part, the mind games, and you start getting into this recovery train, right? Everything's starting to work good. You're starting to see the benefits. The step 9 promises are coming true. Then you're all of a sudden, if you continue to grow, you just gradually hit this next level. It just happens. You're like, now I really want to get healthy. You start realizing how short life is. You start maybe seeing your age and the benefits of living a healthier life, the ease of it mentally and physically, just moving around. That weight will take care of itself later. We'll start working out and getting fit and doing that stuff a little further down the road in recovery. It always happens if you're on a good personal growth set. So I like it. So does this apply to you? Just think about it. If it does, say yes. If it doesn't, say no. So do you want to change? No. End of story. Does anybody really want to change? Or no, because that means that somebody else wins. And I can already hear that person. I told you so. So you got family nagging. You need to change. You need to change. You need to change. And you go and change. And they're like, I told you so. And you don't want to hear that crap from them. Or maybe, yes, you do want to change. But I know myself well enough to realize that when somebody tells me what to do, don't use, don't indulge, don't do whatever, that I suddenly have a strong urge to break that law. Nope. You tell me what not to do, I'm doing it. Who are you to tell me? Start getting all arrogant like that. Yes, for the first one. I hear that. I've been there. I can circle all these. Do you want to change? Yes, but only when I don't have strong cravings. Do you know, I always think about that too. Like when I was a cigarette smoker, I would be like, okay, that's my last one. I want to quit. I'm done. And that's because I'm full of nicotine and just had a cigarette because there's no cravings. I see my life without it because it's already like satisfied me. And the same way with weed, same way with meth. As soon as I was high, I'm done. I'm going to quit until the cravings came back, right? Yes, I want to change, but I don't know what I'm going to do with my bad feelings. I want to change, but then I got to confront these feelings and screw that. And then do you feel guilty? Like, yes, I want to change, but that's only because I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to want to change. Yes, but not if I really have to say goodbye to something that has become the center of my life and I want the right to visit it occasionally. You know, when I was first quit drinking, first year, in the back of my mind, I could always see myself like in a retired state, whatever, on the back of a porch, glass of whiskey on ice, feet kicked back, sipping it. Like one day I'll be able to revisit this addiction, but I'll be able to control it. And one day I'll be able to just sit there and catch a good little buzz and go to bed. That always played to the back of my mind. So I want to change unless I got to say goodbye, right? Because this is the center of my life and I want to visit it occasionally. I don't want it to completely go away. You know, how about, yeah, I want to quit, but I'll do it tomorrow after I can say a fitting goodbye. Like, so after I can tie one on, after I can do one last good one last drink, and you know what? I'm going to take this shot, but I'm going to make it a little bigger than normal. Wow. Saying goodbye the good way to this addiction. One last good one. And maybe you want to change only because you're embarrassed. Yes, I want to change, but just because I'm embarrassed that I got caught, which means if you subtract the embarrassment, I don't really see the need to change. A lot of people get stuck there too. What other reasons do you have? Why don't you want to change? I don't like to be told what to do and what I can't do. I hate what I do, but I also love it. I don't want to try and fail again. I don't need to change. My addiction has become like home. It's a comfortable routine. No one likes to change. What other reasons do you have? And right here, I got written next to it because it's fun. I liked it because it was fun. I thought it was fun. I'm sure the people around me after a while didn't think it was fun. Like, LT, that's not fun. You're acting like an idiot. And here, I think I'm being Mr. Funny, Mr. Fun. Consider the opposite question. Why do you want to change? For your kids, your wife, your husband, your partner? For yourself? Do you want to restore your relationship with God? Because you're tired of the bad consequences? Or maybe you don't know. I don't know why I want to change. That last question might seem out of place. Why worry about the reasons for changing? When you're desperate, any reason will do. That's true, but here is why it is worth considering. While some of the reasons might work for a short time, they tend to fade away when cravings are strong. So you get some of those reasons, even if it's your wife and kids, but as soon as those cravings hit, those reasons will fade away. At those times, you simply aren't thinking about your family and friends. You just feel like you need your addiction. And that's why you need a more powerful motivation to change. If you're doing it for the wife and kids and the family, brothers, sisters, mom, dad around you, you're going to need a more powerful motivation, even though it seems like that should be powerful enough. It's not. Than that. The more powerful reason, of course, is God. He's the king who tells us how to live. But forget about ought and should for a minute. You have plenty of practicing avoiding what God says you ought to do and should do. The real reason God can deliver you is because he is the only one who is more beautiful than your addiction. So not only does he give you power and reason to say no to your addiction, he also gives you a reason to say yes to something better, something more beautiful and life-giving. Addiction complicates everything, including your relationship with God. If you are unsure about change, then you are double-minded about God. You know you need him, but you don't necessarily want him, or at least on his terms, which is total surrender. You might feel like he abandoned you in the past, so why would you suddenly switch to God's side? Right? I've been blaming God for everything. Why have all of a sudden am I going to turn to him for help? Screw that. To put it crassly, this guy says, what has God done for you lately? What's God done for me lately? I ain't going to, you have resentments. You hate him. Whatever God is to you, right? So how are you double-minded? Walk carefully through this one. When you avoid God, and you should be suspicious for your reasons why. So think about it. Because we get to the 12 steps, and it's a spiritual program, right? We always get to, so we were talking about this in group last night. Step 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Step 3, turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. And right in there, step 2 and 3 really knocks people back on their heels. They're like, okay, I do have a problem I want to change, but God? No, thank you. No, thank you. And really analyze at that point why. Like, what's the big deal right there? You should be suspicious of that reason, of why to give up or quit any program that's going to push you in a spiritual direction. For example, you might notice a hint of anger towards him. Anger often feels absolutely sure of itself. When you're angry, you're 100% sure that your reasoning for being angry is a fact, right? And you could be wrong. That's the strong emotion of anger. Your attitude can look like a little bit like finger pointing the fingers at others and shifting blame. That's an old trick. Addicts can feel utterly miserable and ashamed, but still point the finger at other people. Other people aren't usually the real problem. Thank you, Camelia Ortiz. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Glad you're here. Are you a finger pointer? Are you blaming others? Are you being the victim? And are you blaming God? Grr. I did. Boy, when my son was in an accident, he got his head crushed, TBI, hospital, crazy, scary, almost death, like death and, being revived, all that kind of stuff, right? I used to flip out. I'd get drunk at the hospital. I'd be drunk at the Ronald McDonald House in Salt Lake City, and snot cry, screaming at God, like I was flipping off the sky, all that kind of stuff. F you. So let's at least consider the possibility that God isn't the problem. So when you come to step 2 or 3, you're like, oh my God, it's God. It's maybe let's look at it a different way. I mean, that's self-discovery. That's analyzing. That's becoming recovery. That's admitting we're powerless. That's admitting we don't have all the answers. So knock that emotion out of the way. Okay. I do have beef with God, but maybe that's not really the problem. Maybe I'm the problem again. You might already think that is too much God talk. That's fine. Are you a skeptic? Are you a doubter? That's not a problem. Just walk with humility and just be open to it. Just maybe I'll listen. You know what I mean? You got to try new things. A lot of people that know me know that I hate seafood. I hate fish. I hate any animal that comes out of the sea that goes in your mouth. I don't do that stuff. Ugh, it's gross to me. I don't even touch them. I don't even like touching them. If I had to, I would, but I don't touch them either. Just I don't know, probably the way I grew up. But I try it once a year. I give it a shot. LT sushi's so delicious. It's so good. And they're eating it. It looks good when they're eating it. I'm like, damn, that does look good. All right. It's been a year since I've tried this stupid stuff. Nope. But I remain open-minded. I know I don't like it. I know my experiences with it, but maybe something will change inside me this time. Hasn't yet. And that's just fish, right? That's just fish food. But God, and being skeptical and being a doubter, maybe that's not the problem. So right now, just walk with humility. Be open-minded to this point in your recovery. When you get to AA and they close with the Serenity Prayer, they close with the Lord's Prayer, or somebody around you starts talking about God and the way they were helped, and you just get that shuddery cringe, don't talk to me. Just kind of just start being open-minded to things. Remember, you believe all kinds of myths about God because we've stereotyped God. And when you stereotype someone, you don't really know that person. As soon as you ever done that? You like judge a person as soon as you meet them. They come into your new workplace and you're like, yeah, whatever. Look at this, yokel. And you stereotype them. And then a couple weeks go by and you get to know them and you realize, man, every judgment I made when they first walked through the door is not the person that I've met and know now. And we do that a lot. And we do that with God. You think you do. You think you know God, but only when you actually meet that person and have an actual conversation do you get to know that person accurately. So the same thing happens with God. A lot of people tell me, oh, I know all about God. I know all about the Bible. I know all about this. I'm like, oh, have you ever read it? No. Do you know what this book talks about? Like if we read this? Nope. And all the information we really get is what we see on TV or other people that hate God talk about, maybe. So figure it out. Since you've been running from God, there's a good chance that you don't really know him. So just be open-minded that you may not know. Start with a word association test. What words or images come to mind when you think about God? And where did you get these ideas? Maybe you grew up in a religion. Maybe you're Catholic, you're Muslim, you're Buddhist. Maybe you grew up in some type of a religious culture, your family, your friends, whatever around you, that gave you the image of God. Is that maybe one part of it? Where did you get the ideas of God and who you think God is? In the Bible, this is what God says about himself. He sets himself apart from all other gods. He says, the Lord, listen to this, he's compassionate. He's gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love, faithfulness, and maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving wickedness and rebellion and sin. Did that come to mind? Like when you thought about God, did you think about love and compassion, faithfulness, that kind of stuff? And here's another way that God introduces himself in Isaiah. He says, I live on high in a holy place, but also with him who is contrite and lowly in spirit, to revive the spirit of the lowly. To revive the spirit of the lowly, and to revive the heart of the contrite. I'm here to give hope to the hopeless. I'm here to love the loveless. I'm here to help the people that feel desperate, in need, ashamed, dark, depression. I'm here to lift that person up. That's what God says about himself. What God would ever pursue a lowly outcast like me? Did you notice that the words lowly and contrite in that last little sentence? If God really does come close to the humble and hurting, he must understand my life and what my life is like. This is especially important because only someone who really understands can help. Who could really help another addict that's gone through a heroin addiction and trauma? Me as an alcoholic, or somebody else who has had a heroin addiction? Somebody that can actually really get in there, understand, can help a lot better, right? God knows and understands us more than we even know. So at least you feel alone in your internal battle. Consider what the Apostle Paul had to say about his struggle. So there's a dude in the Bible who used to kill Christians. And this is one of the things that he said. He says, I have the desire to do what is good, but I can't carry it out. For what I do is not good that I want to do. No, the evil I do not want to do, that's what I keep fricking doing. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me that does it. So I find this new law at work in me. When I want to do good, evil is right there with me. For my inner being, I delight in God's law, but I see another law working in the members of my body, waging war against the law of my mind and making me prisoner of the law of sin at work with my members. That's our double-minded desires, right? I want to do good, but I keep not doing good. Ugh. Who would have thought that you would find this in the Bible? You might not always delight in God's law, as Paul wrote, but you certainly can relate to the powerlessness. What I do is not the good I want to do. God understands how and why you are stuck. This is why we need him. So while we're on the topic of God, it is time to attack the myth that you are too bad to be loved by God or be forgiven for what you have done. Nope, you don't know my life, LT. I have done some horrible things. God ain't gonna help this guy. I'm too horrible, You feel like that? Do you feel like you can't be loved? Like you've done so much what you consider to be horrible things in your life that there's no way God or a family or people can love you and you don't deserve it? God knows you in detail. Nothing you have done or thought is new to him. Here's a trustworthy saying that deserves full acceptance. Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am the worst. But for that reason, I was shown mercy, so that in me, the worst of sinners, Christ Jesus might display his unlimited patience as an example for those who would believe on him and receive eternal life. Now to the King, eternal, immortal, invisible, the only God, be honor and glory forever. Amen. If anyone is too bad for God's grace, Paul says that he's the guy. Paul's a murderer. But God's patience is not like that of the ordinary person. His patience is such that Paul can do in response is break out into prayer and thanks. God, he's like, thank God he is patient and loved me because I am the most horrible person on the face of the planet. That's what this guy thought about himself. A wise person does something with all of this. So a wise person, remember we talked about chapter 1 last Tuesday, wisdom and folly, and how we need to seek and follow wisdom. What would a wise person do with everything we've been talking about? Be surprised. If you respond to God with a ho-hum shrug, it's an indication that you might not be getting it. God's grace is astonishing, shocking, and earth-shattering. In the Bible, those who actually catch a glimpse of God fall on their knees and worship. Even though they know him, they were still overwhelmed by his greatness and his beauty. So review the passages mentioned above, it says, and be amazed. Be amazed that it says that. You can learn amazement. You just have to realize that every time you learn about God, you learn about someone who is not ordinary. So are you bored with about the God talk? He says, you bored with the God talk? Stop talking about God. What could keep you from being surprised and amazed? Be afraid. You have more warrior potential than you think. If real war came to your town, remember, we're in a battle here between a double-minded. We're on a battle zone in here. But you have more warrior in you than you think. If a real war came to your town and bloodthirsty enemies were at your door, you might be surprised at how fierce you could become. And if you had a little bit of heads up that these enemies were coming, you may be trying to get your hands on an Uzi or some grenades, right? Or a bazooka. You can get tough if you have to. You need only the proper incentive. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been forcefully advancing, and forceful men lay hold of it. No mercy. The kingdom of God is not for wimps, but for the forceful. But don't be cocky or self-confident. Courage and fear can and should go together. Courage and fear. Ask any soldier if they've ever been afraid in the face of the enemy. Only a fool is unafraid in the midst of guerrilla warfare. Your addiction is in cahoots with the formidable triumvirate. I don't even know how to say that freaking word. Of the world you desire and the devil. They're not to be trifled with, and they should provoke fear. Fear can control and paralyze. That is not the fear that you aspire to. Your fear is simply to acknowledge that there is great danger. And when you're afraid, you will trust in God. The problem is not that we can be afraid. The problem is where we turn when we are afraid. So now that we found fear, where do we turn? I'm afraid of failure, so I quit. I quit before I have a chance to fail. And you just stay in the same mindset, same drug use, whatever, right? Whatever fear captivates you, where do you turn from there? Do you run and hide? In some cases, it's okay to run and hide if you're in enemy territory. Skylove, good morning. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Are you afraid? How can you grow in a good kind of fear? Hope is in all of this. If you were a zombie or a slave, there would be no point in telling you to fear an enemy and get ruthless. If you are hearing this, you are more alive than you think. You are stronger than you think. Only people with life and vigor are willing to go to battle. So if you're here and you want to change, you find this double-mindedness in yourself, and you want to go to a battle, you're alive. So there's one option: run. When a fight is lopsided against you, when you are in enemy territory and you've strayed from your troops, we got a little group here, right? Covering Addict. We meet on the week every weeknight, pretty much Monday through Friday. There's a group of us right there. We're confident. We're around each other. At that moment, there's nothing to fear. We're surrounded by friends. We're not in high-risk situations. But during the week, we have to go back out into the world and do our thing. And sometimes we may veer off a little further out into the world than we should, or maybe it just happens because of job and life, right? And we find ourselves in a super duper high risk situation. We're in enemy territory. What should we do? What do you do? It's wise to run from safety, to run to safety. Get out of there. It's not weakness, and it's not weakness to run. Oh, I don't need to run from this. I'm not weak. You know, a lot of people could think like that. It's not weak. It's common sense. If I'm surrounded by 10 dudes that got guns and clubs and they want to beat me or kill me, is it weak for me to run away from those guys? And that's what our addiction is. If we stray off and we get out there alone and we know that our addict's outside doing push-ups while we're in the meeting, we've heard that before, right? All of a sudden we're surrounded by our addict and influence and high-risk situations. That's a lot of stuff against you. And it's not that you're weak. It's just that we know where that can lead. Common sense is to run the other way, back to strength, safety. So where's the dangers at in your life? Mine's like boredom. Boredom could probably get me later in life. Right now. I feel pretty confident right now. A danger in my life back then was like, I'm not as creative without it. I don't have the energy to do it unless I use it, you know? So the hope. One of the goals of this step is to acknowledge that you are double-minded. You prefer to linger with old enemies rather than run from them. So if indeed you are double-minded, admit the truth. There is only one small step, but it's an important one. And in fact, it is a very hopeful one. Can you see why acknowledging the unattractive things about yourself is hopeful? And can you identify other reasons to have hope? What do you think? Just about finished here. Just about finished with this little page here. Learn more about the Lord. There is no better time than now to know God better. The scripture, of course, is where you will learn about him and hear his voice. If you are reading other parts of scripture, look especially for how the passage tells you about God. Learn about God. Go to books, go to YouTube videos, go to podcasts, and learn. Just learn. When you're bored, it is a perfect time to meditate, as it is as hard as it is. You are doing so much for yourself and you don't even realize it. That's true. Meditating is good. Pray. The God of the universe has invited you into a conversation. He speaks first and last, but in the middle, he asks you to speak to him. Yes, you can seem hard to speak to God. It can seem hard to speak to God, but that doesn't mean you are on the wrong path. People in the Bible even ask, how do we pray? And pray is many things. Praying is many things. Like, how do I pray? How do you pray? Giving thanks, being grateful. Oh, whatever your higher power is, right? I pray to God. God, thank you for this warm air. God, thank you for this meal. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Being thankful is being grateful. And being grateful is where we want to be. You know, it could be praise, excitement, praise over things that are great, worship and requests. I need help. I need this. Help me do that. In its most basic form, prayer is simply just saying help. You will find that prayer, communication, is essential to God's way of bringing change in your life. Without it, you might be able to stay away from your addiction, but you won't be transformed. It is like tuning up a broken engine, when the real way to fix the car is to give it a total overhaul, right? A new engine, the works. So don't settle for talking about God. Granted, you are feeling a little ashamed because he knows you inside and out. But he knows everybody inside and out, and there's nothing pretty about humanity. Every one of us is jacked up. Don't think that he's like a human being. Human beings don't quickly forgive. They don't get overjoyed about taking runaways like me back, right? Humans don't like talking to people who have hated them in the past. But God's not like us. He's holy. And part of what that means is that he genuinely enjoys those who turn humbly to him. Humility. You can speak to God in your own words. If you need help, here's something you could use. Father, I want to talk with you not because I'm worthy, but because you are forgiving. Please forgive me for the mess I have made. My heart is divided. I don't want it to be. I admit I need help, lots of help. I can't live a wise life. The life I was intended to live as your child on my own. I need you. Be humble. If that resonated with you, just learn, be open-minded, and start on a journey about self-discovery, right? We don't know until we start to know. And that's why at Recovering Addict here and locally, we like to do a bunch of different things. Like this month, our group, we're going to go this Saturday and help another nonprofit take care of the wetlands out here and clean up some banks and shores so that the water can stay running and they stay healthy, right? For our species and environment and the birds and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of hard work. You get sweaty mosquitoes and all that kind of stuff. Some people may dig and love that. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to a baseball game. I hate baseball. But you ever seen one live? You go to a live one, maybe you start liking baseball. Who knows? We like to paint. We like to play laser tag. We like to mountain bike. We like to hike. We like to paddleboard. We like to try all these different new things that we've really never done. Like Lagoon, we're going to go to an amusement park. And some of us in our group have never been to an amusement park. So we try new things. We start to learn. We keep an open mind. We've tried to forget what we think we know about God when we come to step 2 and 3. I hate God. Why? Do you know him yet? What is your definition of God and where did you get that definition? Just keep an open mind and revisit that. We're trying to change everything. In addiction, we are hardwired into horrible habits. It's time to rewire. And to redo that, we have to do things we've never done. You know that whole cliche, to have what you want, you have to be willing to do what you've never done or something like that. Whatever it is. Somebody can correct me on that. Thank you, Steve Jones. I appreciate that. Let's check in with our 30 dayers real quick. So what we'd like to do is challenge ourselves to daily habits, daily routines. And in this particular, I lost it. What we're doing is we're trying to find a cookie jar. Okay. Our cookie jar is looking at the past, some struggles that we've overcome. And we write that down, like, what struggle did I overcome and what did it take to get me there? That's a cookie for your cookie jar to give you strength to show that you're not weak and that you can overcome and nothing can hurt you, right? So look in your cookie jar when you are struggling. It's not bringing up the past. It's not doing it to relive and to dwell and sulk and beat yourself up, play the blame game. It's to look at like, holy crap, I made it through that. I am strong. I am capable, right? So here's our 30-day challenge. Let me change up my screen a little bit here. Savage Freedom. She's been journaling, drinking water, exercising, listening to a book called Relentless. Highly suggest, if anybody hasn't listened to or read that one, to do it. And look at this. See, this is the support I'm talking about. She puts in here, my heart is heavy. I can't sleep. I don't want to get high. I don't want to drink. I just don't want to feel this pain right now. This is the pain I've been running from. And I knew I'd have to face it as soon as I recommitted myself to the journey of life. I thank God that I don't have to go through this agony alone. I'm so grateful to be alive and to have Recovering Addict local and abroad to make this ache more tolerable. We have to feel to heal, right? And that's what she's doing. Let it out and talk about it. It is okay to talk about it. It helps to talk about it. Her new goal is to quit smoking cigarettes in the bedroom at night, quit eating in bed in the middle of the night, commit to working on a schedule, 3 hours to 4 days a week, on developing skills and confidence I need to create new items I want. Beautiful custom printing shop. I love it. I have the equipment and the capability to do it myself. Wonderful. Love the new goals. Love the new mindset. Steffi, you're rocking. Proud of you. Geesh. He always takes cool pictures. That's a cool picture. Nice bridge. Nice bridge. I like when trees cover the whole sidewalk or streets and you can drive like through a tunnel of trees. So cool. He's checking out the Other Side of Hell podcast. Beautiful. They would be happy to know that you're doing that. Journaling, drinking his water, 5 miles on his bike ride. Look at his steps. Look how many steps this dude gets in. It's crazy. Crazy. 11 miles. Listening to good stuff. Daily Stoic. Oh, that's a good one. See? Educational content to grow the mind. Building good habits. He says, I try to tread lightly when it comes to Rogan, but this is a great episode. I'm going to try to find this. Right on. I like Joe Rogan. Oh, look at that cool picture. So you got to see some cool stuff when you're out riding your bike. It's good for you. Get out, get some exercise. Set little goals, daily habits. Well, I woke up early enough to make it to work early. Unfortunately, it's raining this morning. I love the rain. Lucky. I wish it was raining here. Jen Ray, doing some yoga, painting some toenails, drinking water, journaling. Beautiful. Listening to some books, educating. Freaking love it. You guys have been rocking it all week. Second bottle of water today. Looking healthy. Looking good. Love it. Renee, doing awesome too. I love the night pictures. Looks like it's been raining there too. Maybe. Grateful. Not had to go to work sick. Kind and supportive partner. Beautiful. Having my own place. Having a warm bed. Lost my voice. Being sick sucks. Get rest. Take care of yourself. No worries. No worries. Little Miss Happiness. She's been sleeping a lot lately. It's not like me. I think I've slipped into depression episode. Oh, let's get you out of there. Get you back on track with the habits. Here's my little channel. So I got up and went on a good bike ride. Mapped my ride. Went on a 2.46 miler yesterday. Oh my goodness. I worked out so hard yesterday. Last night in our group, what we did was an EMOM JV. Let's look at him and I'll tell you about my workout real quick. Tuesday strength training. Very cool. Narrow rows, lat pull downs, dumbbell V, biceps curls. I love chest extensions, jump squats. Beautiful. Hour and 11 minutes. Man, alive. Average heart rate about 100. Maximum heart rate 153. Oh, he's working out. Yep. 327. Man, mine was similar to that. Very cool. Oh, you guys know each other like in real life. That's cool. Him too. Oh, y'all went somewhere. That's cool. Dude, that is so cool. Meow. Good job, brother. Proud of you. Yeah, so yesterday, good job, everybody. Keep up the goals. This July, we're just going to rock through, continuing these goals. And then when August hits, we'll set a new set of goals with new rewards to people who commit to them and do. So that we'll reevaluate that. So continue these for yourself in July. Don't stop. It's good for you. And a lot of us that have been doing it since May, June, July, right? May, June, and now July. We're past 66 days of doing these. So it's actually built a real habit. But yeah, yesterday I'm at the gym. We did an EMOM, which means every minute on the minute, right? So you have to do your exercise. And if you get your exercise done within 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you got 30 seconds to rest. But as soon as that next minute hits, you're on to your second one. So you have to do 4 different workouts. What we did was 10 deadlifts, 10 kettlebell swings, 10 pull-ups, and then 10 burpees. So 1 minute, boom, I had to do 10 deadlifts. Next minute, boom, I had to do 10 kettlebell swings. Next minute, 10 pull-ups. Boom, next minute, 10 burpees. And then it starts over every minute on the minute for 20 minutes. So you end up doing those 4 exercises 5 times. And I was like, I'm going heavy today. So I think I set my bar at like 255 for my deadlift, 255 pounds for my deadlift. And I was using a 70-pound kettlebell to swing. By the time I was done with that, it's a 20-minute workout. You end up doing it 5 times. So I deadlifted 255 50 times, 70-pound kettlebell swing 50 times, 50 pull-ups, 50 burpees, basically what it is every minute on the minute. And when I was done, I couldn't sit up straight because my head would start pounding. It felt like my blood vessels were going to pop out of my head. Then I'd get nauseous. I haven't worked out that hard in a long time. Flea says she's sore from it. NYC 99. Good morning. How are you? It's the same here. My boss always trying to trim them all the way back. It drives me nuts. Yeah, don't trim the trees. Leave the tunnels, man. They're beautiful. Unless there's a power line under it, leave it alone. Just make it look pretty. You're hurting, honey? Your legs hurt? I'm not sore yet. I'm a little stiff, but I think later tonight I'll be more sore. All right, everybody. Let's rock and roll. I'll be back Sunday night. Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Flace and I will be live. And on our Sunday nights, we're going through Atomic Habits. Okay. Tiny changes, remarkable results, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. This is something you want to tune in on. If you can get the Audible book, listen to it while we go along with it if you want to order it on Amazon. But I really want to get into this book. And not only do I want to read this book and educate people here on our live stream and in our group, but I really want to turn this inward and practice this in my life. I want to continue to grow, continue to level up in recovery and in every aspect in every part of my life, physical, spiritual, relationships, community relationship, everything. I'm looking to level up a little bit everywhere, every day. So until Sunday, y'all, do not put yourself in a high risk situation. Rollo, welcome. Do not put yourself in a high risk situation. Make sure you are staying strong, working a program, working it every day. And remember, we recover better together.